getting center and fragging out their mind.
Speaking about getting center, the circle centers almost perfectly, probably actually perfectly right into the middle. It does make it a little bit tricky though with that road cutting the map in half between the north and south side. Teams will have to figure out which way it'll go. It looks like it's going to favor the north slightly more though, but you can never be too sure with the circles out on Miramar.
Vampire on the northeast side do have a slice of this with 1 million pushing in on their eastern edge. Ravenclaw will be able to hold that off, or certainly gather the info of this location, if nothing else. Further in is Evos ahead, near El Azahar. Godlike Stalwart on the western side, moving into the stables.
This is on the western edge here. Godlike, another team to really watch out for. See if they can maybe overtake Nova. It was 2 years ago, I believe, that this Godlike team got second place to the likes of Nova in PMGC Grand Finals. So, a lot of similarities happening here. This is almost like a Grand Finals because of the caliber of the teams, right? We already have so many championship teams in this group, and this is just a group out of 3 groups. There's still heavy-hitting teams elsewhere that's all going to congregate into the grand finals later down the line. And oh boy, we think this one is neck and neck, tough and tough, back and forth. Can't imagine what the grand finals are going to be like, John.
I mean, not even the grand finals, the survival bracket at this stage is going to be absolutely mental. Because we are going to see some strong teams go in there. We can't fit 6 in 3. It just doesn't work like that. I know we'd love to, but yeah, it's just not the way it works in the end. So 3 of these 6 teams that we currently have vying for the top spots will have to go home. We're going to not go home, go to the survival stage and start with our revision for the rest of the teams going over there. It's not going to be nice. It's not going to be pretty. But I can tell you what, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah. Just to correct something I made a mistake on earlier. Actually, 2 years ago, it wasn't Godlike Stalwarts Esports. It was a different Mongolian team. It was Zeus, I believe. Yeah, but that's what really put the Mongolian region on the map. And then it was last year that this current iteration of the Godlike Stalwarts team overtook that Zeus team, and they became the shining pride for Mongolia. And they're keeping it strong here, you know, staying in the top 2. They also had a difficult climb back up into the top 3, right? They were struggling quite a bit, falling down, having a lot of rough games, but they've proven their worth as well.
Absolutely. It's been really, really good to see Godlike Stalwart come back into this engagement, into this fight, with the strength that they've been able to accrue. We spoke about how many points Nova was able to get over the course of today. 96, really, really heavy total. When you turn that around and look at what HVVP have been able to earn today, they started on 209. So they really have been lackluster today, only getting 15 points in the first 4 games. That's such a vast ocean of difference that we just need to see HVVP step up, because they can do it. We know they can.
Good start for Evos. They really need it. Can they confirm the point? On to 1 million, too. The team that's slightly ahead of them in points. And stolen by Vampire. Oh, those stolen eliminations. We brought it up in the very beginning how it will have a big impact. And that 1 point right there, that's got to suck for Evos. And the circle, by the way, did shift up further north. It's very similar to that one Miramar game we had maybe yesterday or 2 days ago, where Alpha 7 ended up getting a huge, huge chicken dinner with a lot of eliminations.
Would be great. I mean, so many teams would love that right now. So many vital positions being vied for. The middle of the table is looking a little bit more secure. From 7th through 10th, it's looking pretty chill at this stage. With 2 games remaining, you imagine you're going to be stuck in these brackets. Using this as a scrim opportunity for the survival stage. Still trying to maximize your earnings and maximize your points. But you must feel a little bit resigned when you're in one of those middle spots at this point.
I think Alpha 7, with this position in the zone and this being their map, they're not going to lay their weapons down just yet. If they could get a chicken here, they have a chance at the very final game. Nova on the south side, Fireflux on the very southern edge of this zone, meaning they definitely will have to cross the road at some point. This could be a difficult game for Fireflux to close that gap and break into the bubble. HVVP, meanwhile, sitting pretty comfortable on the north side of things, but they're also on the edge. So if it centers on up, both Fireflux and HVVP will have to fight their way in.
But that's where they shine for HVVP. I want them to have that performance today. I feel like this is a team that deserves to get a direct qualification spot. We've seen the power that they've been able to bring to the lobby. We've seen the power that they've exerted. But today it just has not been there. And in the final 2 games, they'll need to pull it out of the bag to keep themselves going, or they'll be bumped down to the survival stage, which would be bad news for them and even worse news for everybody else.
Even worse news for everybody else. The amount of teams that HVVP can take advantage of in the survival stage compared to this current group, oh yeah, there's a lot of teams that they could just take fights with. The circle has shifted a little bit more to the north, keeping HVVP in zone. Fireflux, however, do have to cross this road. They do have buggies, at least, probably the best vehicle to have in a game of Miramar. But it's going to be a difficult cross either way. Look at this. To their left, Damwon Gaming, the Knights, and Godlike Stalwarts, all on the edge. To their east side, Udo Alliance, Evos, Vampire Esports, all not in the zone. This rotation for Fireflux might be the last one they make here on Miramar.
Into the Valley of Death they ride. They ride strong and pull up on the position. Damwon yet to find an opening knock as Pittsburgh Knights taking shots out this way as well at both of the teams. Solus, Ketch, Lutz, all at the backside of the building. One does go down, but Sung is answered on towards, and Damwon lose the longhouse. Osal there on the hold, sprayed around the corner, and this is the push from Fireflux.
That's so smart.
They needed it to work, and it has. They've taken control of the building, but they still have to move up north. The disengage comes through from Damwon, and they'll need to push in. In the meantime, Godlike Stalwart from the west side, moving in past Skylights Gaming, trying to take this fight, doing so fairly well. Unfortunately, though, on the south side, Nova have the bead over towards Damwon, and they're going to force them into the push over towards Venom, towards the rest of 1 million as well.
Yeah, Damwon with a good chicken, but that was slight mishap, slight mistake in their defense, and they're down to 1 member suddenly. Such a smart move by Fireflux. So, wait, hold on. Fireflux down to... Oh, yeah, they're not in the zone yet after winning that. They still have to fight past the Knights, and yeah, Fireflux down to 2. 1 member knocked. Damwon Gaming is out. They are taking a fight against the Knights right now on that southern edge. Here's that fight. Coops is pushing Lutz and the other member of Fireflux. I don't think this is going to work out for them. Coops actually gets run over.
Run down. Lutz is still active for Fireflux. It's Xenox and Spec for Pittsburgh Knights. Lutz is getting the heal off. Solke moving on up. Lutz gets the flush. That information was being given back over. Solke not going to be an easy res, to be sure. Damage on the back lines as well for Pittsburgh Knights will slow their aggression, but the zone will push everyone in. Godlike Stalwart in the meantime, finding the remnants of Shockwave, and actually HVVP are looking to try and exert some control here at a crucial time for them. This northern side looking good at the moment. Fireflux will get run down and eliminated. They will not have the run towards HVVP. They have one more shot at glory, and that'll come in Erangel next. But we're back on over with Nova, who actually lost a player, and a knock went over their way. It's Paraboy and Order, the gruesome twosome for the squad. The powerhouse of today. Order on the swivel, snaps the shots back on over. No knocks go either way. Evos are here as well, trying to ruin the day against Udo Alliance. Look at the health bars for Udo Alliance in the meantime. Paraboy forced back on in, but the circle is nowhere to be seen here.
Yeah, this is a tough fight for Nova. They're being crunched in by 2 teams. Evos hungry for the points, taking a very aggressive push towards both of these teams, and that's Nova down to 1. It is just all up to Order, and the nade rings true. This is Nova out early. bad game for them compared to what they've done so far, but they have somewhat of a slight lead. This is a huge game for Stalwarts Esports to maybe overtake that first place position, and HVVP still have 4 left in this match.
Still have 4 playing on that north side. 2 eliminations for now. Alpha 7 may be a little bit of a problem. Bacon time ahead of them. In the meantime, on the southeast side, EVOS with 3. 3 eliminations, 13th place right now. Another knock sent over to Redface, though. It's not good news. Udo Alliance taking these eliminations away from them as well. Pittsburgh Knights cannot be capitalized on by EVOS as Udo Alliance guard them out. And the eliminations, the points, so important for EVOS. Sat 23 points behind. With those 3 eliminations they've got, well, it'd be 24 points behind. With the 3 they've got, 21 overall. More points needed to be earned this game. It's going to be hard. And HVVP, in the meantime, they've shifted over to the east, and they've taken out at least one of Alpha 7, maybe looking for more.
HVVP about to start on their warpath. We have yet to see that warpath today, but starts off with 1 onto Alpha 7. These 2 teams always fighting it out. Udo Alliance, a good defense against both EVOS and the Knights, but finally they're whittled down just to 1, and EVOS smells that weakness. They want every point they can, and so far they've picked up 4 elimination points. This is the best game that they've had so far today. I want to see them continue on the pressure. I mean, they have the zone, so why not try and pick up these last 2 remaining? And that's a good nade. Forces Helton up a little bit forwards, and he'll catch some stray bullets.
Forces him to go for a little bit of a heal. Only the 1 first aid, and actually has to challenge, just roar on this. Doesn't even get that heal off. Look at the positions. Microboy taken down with a crucial off angle for Udo Alliance. Helton still going. Helton still alive. Redface is up and close. Will not be able to take him down just yet. Finally, he's going to fall, but there's still the backline to deal with, and it's not easy. Redface falls. A sliver of HP. Lyzog looks for the final shots, but it comes the third party, and Vampire sees it. Unfortunately, though, it won't go much longer for either of those squads. Udo Alliance eliminated down south as well.
Vampire Esports from distance with that finish. Vampire Esports at 215 with 2 elimination points. They also have 4. HVVP looking very healthy, however. This could be a game for Vampire Esports to strike in from the distance and then close it out towards the late game when it gets close and personal. They are on the eastern edge, though, so they'll probably have to make some type of push sooner or later on the next circle shift. But man, so many things riding on the line. Stalwarts Esports also with 4 on the western side, looking at USG Donuts now in the next circle. Who is it going to favor? If it doesn't favor either of those 3 teams, all 3 will have to move in closer to claim their spot in the next circle.
This is the test moment for HVVP on today. They need to push through Alpha 7, or, well, I suppose they could try and go around the side, but there's really not too much to work with there. Godlike Stalwart up and to bat against Donuts USG. Not going well to start off as action does fall. There is an answer from Scry, and in slides Pika. Moves on up in the coop. Looks for more knocks, gets the flush. Missile laying low for now. Stands up and wants to find Scry, but he's knocked back immediately. Top is on the ball. And Lufa now, last standing for the squad from Japan. Cooking a nade. Puts it out a little bit wide. The push-up has come further. And Godlike Stalwart will stay in for now.
Godlike smells that position out. They hear the nade. They assume it's from some sort of enclosed position, and they know it's here. And yep, that nade will catch Lufa. That is USG out. More importantly for Godlike, though, they pick up more points and instantly scoping out into the blue zone. Spotting out another player. I don't know if they managed to get that knock, but Vampire Esports continue to pick up points, getting a nade knock on to Spec. The Knights down to 1. Xenox last up, and Vampire has the read on him.
Xenox probably going to be going down here. Certainly not safe by any stretch, but Vampire will need to move further north. Power are looking their way. In the meantime, though, HVVP, the crucial push made from Mafioso, tries to launch it out, doesn't quite find Tixie, so no opening knock for Alpha 7. Still 4 players from HVVP to deal with, and they will pause, go for a little bit of a heal. Xenox will fall in the meantime, and HVVP do get that heal off. Mafioso now in danger on the floor in the separate building. Meku lighting up through the door frames. Mafioso still split from the rest of the roster. And look at HVVP, they're tentative, they're back and forth, they are not committing just yet. They're looking for a little bit of an opening. Carrillo tries to sneak it through, but won't find any shots there. Tixi around the corner, but he goes down first, and it's so poor. The second follows. Mafioso is finding the shots that he needs, and Mythic now plays with Carrillo across the way. It's 2 versus 2, HVVP, and down again it's Matic. Meku last standing for the squad from CIS, coming through, top qualifier from the European Championship, and again, they fumble the ball. HVVP fall. Down in 9, 3 eliminations. Vampire staying up with 2. They have 3 eliminations themselves in hand, but they are in a dangerous spot.
Meanwhile, Godlike, with 2 up, might be able to get the revive up to 6 eliminations. Vampire could still do this. Bacon Time has a full 4-man squad. Where has Bacon Time been in the map, though? They've been on the north, just chilling and relaxing. If Bacon Time decides to swoop into this late game, they could also jump up on the rankings. There's so many heavy-hitting teams still. Godlike Stalwart's down to 1 player. They could get that close revive. I don't know. Yeah, the 3rd player does go down. Power here. Finishing off 1 player of Vampire, and that is Vampire eliminated and gone from the lobby. Not that many eliminations. Not as much as they would have liked.
That is crazy. Going into the final game, all 3 of 3, 4, and 5 position have 3 eliminations. The placement points are not big either. It is so close on that bubble. Zute, none of those teams had an impact here. If HVVP had won that fight with Alpha 7, if they hadn't fumbled it, if they hadn't lost Tixi, it would be such a big difference here. We would be having a completely different conversation.
And I feel like, yeah, fumble was the right word. It was a 4 versus 3. We don't see HVVP ever kind of lose those. Close range fight. Alpha 7 was just pretty much trapped in. Maybe a few more usage of util. Maybe they ran out. I don't know. But either way, Alpha 7 win that one. Now, our eyes are set onto Bacon Time and Godlike Stalwarts. Bacon Time losing 1 player, however, might be able to get that revive. But Bacon Time strikes in huge here. Doesn't look like it. They're down to 3 now.
This is the chance for Godlike Stalwart to actually jump up and potentially, as you say, take that spot at the top. 8 eliminations right now. Will put them up at 247 total. So very, very close. With the placement points they've guaranteed already, they might have done it at this stage without any more effort needed. But if you want to take that top spot, you're going to have to put a little bit more of a gap between you and Nova, because despite a poor game today, well, not today, this game, they are still Nova and they are still on fire. Almost a 100-point day team. Alpha 7 getting cut down.
Yeah, they're getting cut down from 1 million and Bacon Time, and that is Alpha 7 out. Very valiant stand against HPVV, but they can't make the push into the next circle. Godlike Stalwart still alive, and we're in the top 5. That's a good amount of placement points once you break that top 5 spot. So very good news for Godlike Stalwarts. Very bad news for the likes of Nova. Bacon Time still have 3. They could still do something here. Only 2 eliminations, though, however, so far.
The only team that doesn't really have a massively important position on the tables is Power at this stage with 4 players alive. 1 million chasing Inko. Vitali going low, going out here could give 1 million that little bit of an opening that they need. If Shirty can tag the shin, there it is, finally finding the shots around the broken door. But 1 million out. Well, Inko out with 2 elims. 1 million now have a chance. With 2 players, it's going to be tricky, but they can close that gap for the bottom bubble as well.
How is Pika still alive here? He smoked his way down through that? Man, Godlike, just getting every little point they can. Now they go from top 5 to top 4. If he gets the next circle blessed over to his side, he can maybe get another placement higher too.
1 million go down.
Yeah.
Even Power could struggle against Bacon Time's lineup.
Oh, is Power not in zone here? Do they have to leave the hard cover?
I think they do. Look at the circles. They're just outside on the shift.
Yeah.
They might have a really forward position, but they're only going to have 1 or 2 of those, and those nades are going to fly straight away.
Circle's closing ever so slowly. We do know Godlike is safe. Oh, just as I say that, he's getting shot up from Bacon Time. They sniff him out, and that's Godlike out in 4th place, but with 8 eliminations.
That's a really huge result. That's 16 points on the game. That will be enough to chase down for that top spot. So 3rd place moving into the final game will be all hotly contested for. 1st place hotly contested for. If 1 million keep going and survive up at yet another place, that's that bottom bubble being contested for. All of these teams sinking their teeth into this lobby, tearing pieces out of each other.
Power forces slowly push on out now that the zone is closing in. Looks like they do have some... Oh, that's not hard cover. Those are just vehicles. 1 million. I respect it. Send 1 player out. No point in just keeping 2 stuck in the shack. See if 1 player could get something done. Not able to, though. It's Bacon Time pretty much versus Power now. Power with 4 players. Bacon Time with only 3. There goes the last player of 1 million.
3rd place, 3 eliminations, 13 points on the game.
Oh!
A nade over the top, double knock over towards Power, and the numbers are now in the advantage of Bacon Time. Shirty leads the charge, moves around the side. We'll probably look for a flush here over onto Aziz if they aren't going to push forwards for Power to try and take it back. Oh, Kante though, gets faded. 2nd answer from it. Bacon Time now playing against 1. The nade over the top to try and keep them alive. There was 1 answer. Shimmies around the rock. Aziz will fall. 2 players alive for Bacon Time and active. With 5 eliminations total. Picking up a chicken dinner could add a 4th contender to that 3rd place chase. And the nades start to fly over towards the back lines. Might just do it there as it rolls through the smoke. Burning at the back as well. And they will shut it down. It's Bacon Time with a crucially timed chicken dinner.
That does give them a chance at top 3 as well. Especially with HVVP fumbling there, not being able to create that much needed point gap between them and everyone else looking to take their 3rd spot to directly qualify. It all comes down to the last game as we all predicted, but I don't think anyone could predict what's going to happen in the very last game today.
I think with that game, Bacon Time might be in the top 3. They
No
might
way.
I think they might have just overtaken HVVP.
Do you think so?
I think they get at least.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see, John.
I think they get. Yeah, I think they get a couple of eliminations. All down to how many eliminations they were able to get.
No
Bacon Time
way.
from 6th place could have jumped up into 3rd with that.
We'll see. But oh man, John, we got 1 game left. So much riding on the line. The top 3, the survival, the top 1 even. I can't wait.
It's all to play for now. 1 more chance to shine through the lobby, to take control, to get those direct qualification spots, or even stay alive. It's all coming down to the last. Make sure you stay tuned.
And it's Bacon Time, clutching it up right when they need to. This is going to come down to the last and final game here.
It definitely is. I mean, so many teams that needed to perform have definitely performed here. You mentioned it perfectly. Bacon Time, 23 points, Glitter. And what's crazy, too, is that GODLIKE STALWART was able to take advantage of Nova only getting 2 points. GODLIKE STALWART with 16 points.
I mean, it's the last 2 matches of the day. You know, everyone's pulling out all the stops. Even Power Esports with the 9 eliminations for a total of 21 points for their game. That's a huge game for Power as well. I mean, you get a couple points here out of 1 Million Esports, a couple out of Alpha 7, even Inco is up here. So there's a couple races that we're going to be keeping our eyes on. But generally, why is it always the case that in the last or second to last match of the day, people that could have been stepping up all day, bacon time, step up? What's in the water?
The pressure. They feel that pressure. That's exactly what it is. And you know what? Overall rankings, bacon time! Clutching it up.
My
I
goodness!
told you it was bound to happen. HVVP going to 4th place, bacon time, making that big push there. And what's even crazier, Godlike Stalwart was able to do just enough glitter to pass Nova for 1st place.
This is the first time the entire weekend that HVVP has not been in the top 3. So this is going to be do or die time for them if they want to make their way back. To be fair, they're only 2 points behind, but they have to match whatever bacon time does or go straight for them, take them out, and then continue to work up from there. Godlike Stalwart, amazing positioning. They've now got 3 points above Nova, so they look very, very comfortable. There's gaps that are being formed, and as we look at the bottom half of the bubble, 7, Inco has been just matching everything that 1 Million Esports has brought to the table today.
They definitely have. They've been canceling out whatever Inco Gaming is doing. You can see it over and over again. 1 Million needs to find a way to just stop Inco Gaming from getting into that late game. And I was actually going back and looking at that first page because there's just so much crazy stuff going on. Some teams are just 10 points away from also being able to make that jump up to 3rd place. It's not safe for anybody, Glitter. And the best part here is that we are going to be going into Erangel. We know which teams have been the top teams there. Some teams have actually faltered. I need to call out Nova. Nova played a completely different style than what we have seen throughout so far today. Whenever Nova is actually split and they have their players kind of doing their own thing, they do so much better. In this last game, they were all together and it was just a completely different Nova. I'm hoping that we see a Nova that is going to be split. And talking about top Erangel performance, Fireflux. That is great to see because that's a team that can definitely jump to 3rd place.
I was just going to say that's another team that is 1,000,000% in the running. If Fireflux have a pop-off performance, they are skyrocketing right back up the leaderboard. So you know that Nova, Godlike Stalwart, and now Bacon Time, who apparently is also a top Erangel performer, is going to be keeping their eyes on them. There's so much for all of these teams to be keeping track of right now that heading into this final match, I actually think it's going to be really interesting to see the playstyle decisions that are made by the teams that are desperate to get into the top 3 and those that are already there and need to hold it.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. I mean, there's 3 squads that could easily jump into that top 3 without even thinking twice here. So, I mean, it's so crazy. There's so many things to think about here. I mean, not to mention you got those teams at the bottom who have no chance at this point. So literally, they could go and spoil and just say, hey, we don't want any of these teams to go into the next stage. I mean, it's crazy. Go.
Jukes, Knights and HVVP.
Yes.
Knights and HVVP.
Oh my gosh.
That's the
Oh my God.
situation
Could
you
you
are
imagine?
describing. Knights can shut
Yep.
everything down for them. They've got nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose at this point, and HVP has everything to lose. So let's take a look at y'all's teams to watch, but there's too many. There's so many of them, and look at these picks. I mean, I think, yeah, that makes sense. That makes definitely sense right there. Can these squads hold on? And in Bacon Time, jumping in right when it needed to be here, 7.
They definitely have Glitter. You know what? I actually want you to take it first. I want you to take it first for me, please.
I'm just really stressed out right now. Okay, now that I realize the potential that Knights have to play that spoiler role for HVVP, who is obviously both of a pick for both of us, that could be just the most insane opportunity. I hope we're able to kind of follow that and see how that turns out. You know that Godlike Stalwart and Nova want to be holding those spots. They don't even have a big gap separating the two of them, let alone them from 3rd and everybody else below them. And the fact that Nova was one of the only teams not on top Erangel performance, like you were saying, 7, you were hinting at that earlier, they are going to have to step it up in the last match.
And for me with HVVP, I'm going to be looking at the urgency that now they're going to have, right? They've been this top team for 3 days. Now, in the last day, they're not even in the top 3. They're looking at survival stage at this point. Is this team, how are they going to be playing? We've seen them do crazy stuff. It worked out in the first 30 days. So far today, maybe it worked out a little bit in the first Miramar. After that, nothing has really worked out for them. Are they going to be trying to be the aggressive team that we have seen in the first 3 days, or are they not going to be seeing that aggressive team? With Godlike Stalwart, are we going to be seeing that patient, right? Waiting for the right moment to strike and being able to third party, because they do currently have the lead. And with Nova, you heard me mention it earlier, if they are going to be playing split, that is when we end up seeing the best Nova. That is when we end up seeing the likes of Jimmy, Order, Paraboy, and everybody else being able to just clutch up and put up those performances. But the big question mark, Hotjukes, you alluded to it, is that spoiler roll from the bottom teams. We saw a little bit in this past Miramar. I think it might happen here, and a lot of the teams that are currently fighting for the top 3 need to watch out for that.
You know, it's not even just the bottom teams. It's also those middle teams, right? They can do whatever they want at this point, and not to mention you may have a middle squad who's got a huge, a pretty thick jump, and they may try to do his miracle shot and take out these squads early and go nuts. I don't know what's going to happen, but here it comes down to this, the final match here of this group. Let's take it on over to our casters for one last time. I'm so jealous of y'all.
Oh, it was crazy in Group Red, and it's getting crazier by the moment here in Group Green. The group of death. We're at 24 out of 24. We have reached that 100% mark, and we're about to go psycho.
Imagine the story, the tragic story of HPVV. First place the entire tournament, and then on the last day, not even making the top 3. That could be non-fiction very soon, not just a story, depending on how this last match goes. And as a joke, I was saying, John, and it's all because of bacon time.
It is. It really is.
They're in that third place now.
The fact that they're in that third place by, I think, what was it, 2 points?
Yeah.
The overall rankings. That is insane. That they are so close to it. But going into our final Erangel, it's a south plane again, Zute. It's a little bit further north this time. But could it be yet another instance of HVVP being denied their primary drop?
I think this last one, they're going to be like, you know what? No, we dropped north. Because the 2 Erangel games today, the 2 other Erangel games today, yeah, you're right. Very southern plane path, and they were forced to drop south because they didn't want to deal with dropping north, stretching for a vehicle and running into a different team. But both Erangel games have been very poor for them. So this being the last one of the day, and this plane path being slightly more north than the other ones, I think they might take the, slight change and just drop north for the vehicles and go up to North George Pool. We'll see very shortly how things go. As for everyone else, I don't think anything's really going to change for them, and I don't see HPVV stretching for that southern side, so they will go north. Fingers crossed they don't run into Fireflux, though, because that's the other team dropping north for South George Pool. They might be in somewhat of a collision.
Potentially, you can see the light blue dots on the map right now. You can see Meku as well on the left-hand side of your screen. Close to power, a little bit close to Nova as well. Potential for a big hot drop. 4 versus, I guess, 1 it would be. Sorry, that's U2 Alliance that they're close by to. Playing around those ruins, playing around those compounds out to the west. Vampire dropping down southwest, uncontested, not too much to worry about. The circle pops out west. This is a circle for HVVP. If there's a chance for them, it's here. They need more than they've got. They certainly do want it. We saw the shots of their player booth earlier. You could almost feel how cold it was. I think I might need another jacket.
Yeah. Reaper Boy smartly, pulling that shoot a little bit early and then seeing the other ones drop in. We'll turn back around. I would like to see for him to loot up and then leave a little bit earlier. Because there was a chance, they take this buggy and drive right back to that compound and pick up a quick point. But with such a bad performance today, I think HVVP is just going to stick to their game plan, not change it up at all. I don't blame them. They went from like the best looking team in the lobby to all of a sudden dropping out of the top 3. So the nerves, as experienced as a team that HVVP is and as dominant as they have been, they must be nervous. There's no way that they can't be nervous here.
You've got to feel it at this stage. I mean, it's all coming under pressure. Can they stay the test? Because they put a buffer between them and everybody else. They elevated themselves beyond the quality of the rest of the lobby. But today has just been crazy. Team after team stepping up, doing so much for themselves. Bacon Time leapfrogging them 2 points in the lead. They're only 7 points ahead of Fireflux. They're only 8 points ahead of Vampire.
Yeah.
Any one of those 4 teams, Bacon Time, HVVP, Fireflux, Vampire, could make it to that 3rd spot. I feel like it's fairly secure at this stage that both Godlike Stalwart and Nova will take the top 2.
Yeah.
But who's going to join them?
And who's going to take top 1? That's also something to keep a very close eye on. 3 points, right, separating them. And then on the bottom half, right, you need to make that top 11 in Inco with 141 looking comfortable to a degree against the likes of 1 million. We were saying the desk was talking about hot drops and everything. We were talking about maybe 1 million could hot drop Inco, but that is not the case. Inco's going to try and play their game and just get a lot of points and hope, or 1 million's going to play their game and hope Inco falls out early.
I'm wondering how long HVVP are going to be looting in North George. Their general rotation on a circle like this, I'd imagine, would be to go to the compounds just to the southeast of Everest, or maybe even try and play on Everest after they've looted up in North George. So the quicker they can get there, the better, because teams will start to be moving now. We are reaching that 5-minute mark, so the early movers will be on the road.
Yeah, they'll be on Everest, or I think they will stay on Everest. Some teams will come behind them, but they'll continue to stay on Everest to clear their backfill. That's most likely the situation. Or they'll play that cube compound just right on the bridge to cut off rotations and then move on later. But the first circle being so big, there's a lot of options. HVVP might even just stay in North George Pole potentially for the first circle and play for the second shift. The Knights, however, will rotate early. Nova playing the compound that they really wanted that one game that Power took over. But with Knights rotating so early, Jimmy might get caught out here if the Knights chase this lone player down, but the Knights instead will just make their rotation center and play from this compound here.
I mean, we said that the top 2 are likely to be Godlike Stalwart and Nova, but I mean, it's not outside of the realms of possibility that one of the teams could jump up over Nova, because at the moment, Bacon Time, they sit 22 points behind, HVVP 20 points behind. Those are big chicken dinners. Sure, absolutely, they are, but that's a big chicken dinner. You're there already, right? If you get 10 eliminations on a chicken dinner, that is 25 points. And that's enough for either of those 2 teams to jump up over Nova. So if Nova go down early, they are in danger of not only not getting that top spot, but also dropping out a little bit lower.
CHVVP up on the north, just looting up. Damwon Gaming, we saw in that stat screen, they actually have the most amount of eliminations on Erenco. Damwon Gaming has started off so strong, and then yesterday and today have just simply fizzled out into non-existence. But just as I say that, supporting Firelines from the rest of the teams gets a second. And it's looking like a good fight for Damwon Gaming here.
Fabian pushes to the back of the building, wants to challenge, but denied that luxury. In through the window, ground floor, Tommy Gunn wants to roll up. There's a nade being cooked by Fabian. Drops it down the stairs. Osal's there as well. The knock on the outside towards Sung is kind of weighing on them quite heavy, and another nade over towards Fabian. Power. They might have lost one, but they are still trucking. It's going well for them right now. As we hop on over, actually, hang on a minute, it's Pittsburgh Knights. Nova, 2 players from Nova have fallen. This is dangerous. Frozen, sprayed down, flushed. Nova down to 2. There's no way they go for these reses. Paraboy falling. This is bad for Nova. In a central position. How can they hold in this as well? Because it's just Jimmy in order, and everybody's going to be looking for these compounds.
Punished. Finally, Nova gets punished for their splits that they love doing in the early stages of the game. And that's pretty much their first place chance, in my opinion, out the window. Because Stalwarts, Godlike Stalwarts, C2 of Nova fell down. So now Godlike, all they need to do is essentially stay alive.
They can just keep going, get a top 5 finish. That's all that's required of them. But then again, Jimmy is still alive, and he has been dynamite for the team of Nova today, and out of yesterday as well. Spec rolling straight on up to EVOS, who are currently in 13th place, but with a massive game could charge on up, and if you want to do that, you have to start fragging early. So picking up a point now, good news.
I think Knights are thinking the same thing. They're just going to try and take every fight they can to get as many points as they can. And just unfortunately for Nova, they were the first ones in the target sightlines. And Nova will lose 2 of their very important players. Now the next zone has shifted. It kind of centralizes right up. And this being the last game, we're going to see a lot more fighting than usual. Just because, you know, teams know they're either in or they're not. And the teams that know they're not in, know they need an insurmountable amount of elimination points. So they may as well go for that as well.
The question is, who do those points go to as well? Because that could be crucial.
Yeah.
It could be the decision maker. When you're talking about a bubble that's 2 points between 3rd and 4th right now, it is absolutely crucial. Donuts USG, we're going to take a fight. Nade in, not long cooked there, but it's right on the money. Spray coming in from Udo Alliance as Bacon Time get into a little bit of a lock horn. We'll be able to find the first. No knocks sent back their way, but there's still more Udo Alliance players in the wings. Unfortunately, looks like there's a third party from down low. It's Inco trying to keep that 11th place under control.
I see HVVP rotating in from the north. They're actually not on the edge. They're going to take this Mount Everest like we predicted, but Fireflux is here first.
Tixie.
Oh, I feel like a little bit more. Oh, never mind. He can still pick up Tixie. The headshot rings in, and that is Tixie down. And now HVVP definitely feeling the pressure and the burn now. Fireflux, I think this was a set trap. Fireflux got here first, and as predicted, HVVP wanted that position. And Nova is about to go out. It's all down to Order. Order will pick up 1 point, but down to a solo player against the 4 of Godlike Stalwarts. And they're at the point deficit as well. It's going to be a tall task for Nova, but hopefully right now for them, I'm thinking they just wish to be in the top 3 at this point.
Top 3 really on the minds of everyone. Weighing heavily. Fireflux, it's good news for them, right? They're in 5th place right now, 2-2-1, 9 points behind the bubble. So starting off, taking down a player of HVVP, arguably one of your strongest competitors for that spot as well. Excellent. And arguably, out of HVVP, you want to take down Tixie, because he is the heavy hitter of this team. Not today, but in general, over the course of the last 3 days, we've seen him be demonstrably monstrous.
Demonstrably monstrous. It's the first time I heard that. Question is, though, who's going to take down Bacon Time? Because Bacon Time's the team that is in 3rd place with 4 members up. This is the team that's technically the gatekeeper of the top 3. And Circle goes up north. Once again, this could be a big one for the Fireflux team.
Look at Matic on the west side. He's really close to Lutz. Ketcher's going to be spotted this as well. They should be taking shots, and Matic really in danger. The rest of HVVP nowhere nearby. That's a flush if he gets knocked. There's no 2 ways about it. So staying out in the open, deadly for Matic at the moment. A wide split for HVVP. Playing as 3. Order. I mean, they've been hounded by the Pittsburgh Knights for this entire game. In through the door, it's Order to face off against 1. Does a lot of damage. Might be spotting around the window. Coops is there. Tensa first to fall. Order 1v2ing right now. Handily taking control of this engagement.
Oh my god. Not even a lick of damage.
Look at that.
Oh.
He's mad that the Pittsburgh Knights are ruining their chances. He's shooting the magazine. He's emptying it down into the crate. Look at him
love
go.
it. You love to see it. You love to see it.
Hey, but with the extra elimination currently, Pittsburgh Knights not in last place, which is a result that maybe you wouldn't expect.
You love to see Order. We've always said close range specialist. That was Coops, and I believe Tensa he took down with not a lick of damage. Did you see the way he danced around them there? Perfectly done.
Nade found a knockover on towards Bacon Time, playing in the middle of ruins. It's a strong position. They've got a lot of hard cover here, but teams are going to start to turn their attention towards it, Zute.
Yeah. The revive should come through, unless if a lucky one gets the confirmation. I think I saw Reaper Boy throw another one towards that way. No explosion, so Bacon Time will remain 4 up. They are trapped
There it
in
is.
a very... Oh, yeah, spoke too soon. But that's just 2 knock... Oh, Reaper Boy with another one.
That's
Cooked
a
way too
little
long.
bit too long. Yeah, long on the cook there. Shirty crawling back towards Orm Style. Donuts USG on the eastern flank. 2 players down for Bacon Time.
Yeah, they don't know,
I mean,
though.
they don't particularly know where this is coming from, I imagine. That burn would have been great about 5 seconds ago. But as of now, it will splash wide.
Bacon Time. Almost losing half of their force. Will be able to get that reset. But still, they're stuck in ruins. Surrounded by Donuts. Surrounded by Udo Alliance. And they have Skylights Gaming to the north on that church position. If the circle shifts off of them, this is going to be a very difficult disengage for even a 4-man team.
HVVP fully disengaged and left 2 players to the north side of the river. Meku and Matic went up that way. Kitsune took an outpost on the south side. Fairly uncontested right now. And Matic now starting to move back down south. Meku surely soon to follow. The chances for HVVP force them to play incredibly cautiously. They just want to stay out of danger right now.
Vampire, another team we got to look out for right now. With 4 players still up on the hard southwest, they lose that circle. It seems like the circle did shift towards the east.
Oof.
Vampire Esports, they got a long road ahead of them, but they've been pulling out miracles here and there on some occasions. So they could also break into that top 3. So many teams still that we have to keep an eye out for.
HVVP's compound on the northern side still viable. The question for me is, where do Fireflux go? That will dictate so much of this lobby. They have a couple choices, but right now the primary ones, HVVP's position, knock out the competition, take down one of the other teams fighting for Bacon Time's spot, or 1 million, take out the team fighting for that bottom bubble and the tournament survival.
If they could get an opening onto 1 million, that'd be a great position for a Fireflux to take. Otherwise, the northern side is a good backup. And
Matic?
HVVP, Matic, I'm not sure. I think they're going for a Hail Mary play here. Just try and see if there's some niche pocket spot in the center open rather than trying to fight in from the edge with only 3.
Oh my goodness me. I saw that health bar trickle. Alpha 7 are here. They're opening up. It's a rematch from Miramar. On the northern side, HVVP need to hold this if they want their chance to continue. Vampire Esports riding up towards EVOS as well on the southwestern side. Both teams, they're going to be forced to conclude this. Vampire have committed, and so have EVOS. This is going to be a fight for both of these teams that will be ringing in their ears for days, weeks to come, potentially. A nade in through the window towards Stone. Pops another one in the side. SKF
Fireflux
putting ordnance down. Here's Fireflux as well. They've moved south. Solke looking to have a third party onto this. Schweppes is going to fall. A really important angle. Ravenclaw gets opened up. The magazine is emptying. The spring pressing those bullets. As HVVP come under fire on the north side as well. Alpha 7 taking that engagement. They found an outpost, and HVVP going to leave that one out to dry. Only 2 players moving forward. Actually, the one for HVVP. Fireflux still engaged in combat now. 4 players alive, and this is a team that wants it badly. Vampire, they've lost 1 fully. 1 knock to try and recover, but Fireflux will not let it go. EVOS are out. 1 million, the only challengers to that bottom spot as well in the meantime.
Yeah, they pick up to 3 eliminations there. They picked up 2 more, so that was a good third-party peek out by Fireflux. They play it tight. They don't fully engage on it for fear of losing players, because they don't just need elimination points. They need whatever elimination points they could get and a strong finish towards the end, so they'll decide to keep all 4 members alive and play a bit safer. HVVP did get pushed out by Alpha 7. HVVP down to 1. Nova down to 1, can't make that first place position in my opinion, and it's looking like HVVP down to 1, can't make that top 3 position.
Kitsune needs a miracle. The nade already doing damage. There's fire. There's flames. There's riches to ruin with a nade from Mythic. That puts the final nail in the coffin. HVVP from first place, pretty much all tournament, down in 4th. Potential to be leapfrogged as well, but we'll be seeing them in the survival stages coming through in 2 weeks' time. It's a result that nobody expected, but it's the one that we're seeing, and this is the group of death. It's Group Green.
That's wild. Who would have thought? We will see them in the survival stages. They'll have another chance as Order gets taken out as well. That is Stalwarts Esports sitting very comfortably in first place. Only Bacon Time has somewhat of a chance to take that first place. But Stalwarts Esports, they have 4 up. They just saw Nova go out. They are chilling right now and might even be celebrating just a little bit in their booths.
They should be, yeah, they absolutely should be okay here. I mean, to be fair though, there are 2 teams beneath them. Could have massive games, but it's going to be very, very unlikely that Fireflux can stretch out that far, even with a big chicken dinner. 4 players alive. They managed to snake their way on into this circle. Alpha 7. The spoilers on the north side for HVVP. We'll be playing from that northern side. We'll need to crunch in down south just a little bit.
Seems like it's going to slow down to a stalemate. 1 million's position very hard to crack open. And not a position that they necessarily want to take over, as most of it's actually not in zone. So yeah, Fireflux is actually going to wait for the zone to choke that position out. There's no need for them to push whatsoever. The blue zone will do it for them. And yeah, 1 million forced to kind of see where else they could play. They'll swing down further south into the likes of Vampire. Vampire very, or not very weak, but just down to 3.
They're out in the open though as well. Ravenclaw really going to struggle here. 1 million looking to just take control of this south side. If Vampire go down, it'll be only Fireflux and Bacon Time looking for a contest. Fireflux spots towards Alpha 7, looking for the flush catch. Not going to be able to nail it, but a lot of damage. Doesn't want to over-peak, doesn't want to give the game away just yet. They play as 4, they need it to keep going if they want a chance at taking on Bacon Time.
Very cautious play out of catch right there. Seemed like he had every opportunity to continue spraying, but always got to play disciplined here. Pop off a few shots, wait a couple of seconds before peeking again, because Alpha 7 is looking up there. And maybe on the next zone shift, if they feel comfortable, they'll get a little bit closer and pick up these points. There is 4 points to be had down there. Fireflux can easily take it if they wanted to.
Desperately need those points as well. Vampire playing with 3. Moving on in. You can see in the picture-in-picture against 1 million, neither team wanting to go too far because both of them are in crucial spots on the tables. There is only one way for them to ladder up, and that's staying alive. You do need to grab those points in, but one thing first. Follow it up with the second. Fireflux move down to the lower plateau. Trying to maintain control over this high ground near ruins. Bacon Time, I feel like they've been given an easier ride than maybe it would have been entertaining to see in this game. They've just held in the same position in ruins for so long now. Nobody's moved in past it.
Yeah, Bacon Time do get blessed with that circle. However, Fireflux is in a great position to dominate the rest of the game. Everyone's stuck in ruins. Fireflux is the only one with free reign and free control. So this could set up Fireflux potentially catching up to Bacon Time in eliminations, and Bacon Time just holding out with 4 for as long as they can. This is a showdown that's starting to shape up here. Meanwhile, Vampire, they're only like 1 or 2 points behind Fireflux. They are, however, down to 3 players, so much more difficult for Fireflux to pull something off. Here comes 1 million circling back around to the top. Is Fireflux going to be able to fend this off? And they indeed will.
Alpha 7 moving up actually towards Skylights Gaming. In towards the church around the side, catches the nade being cooked, but Mythic doesn't get the knock. Teammates are falling, Mythic goes down first. Nades answering with a little bit of damage, but only Mr. Ford has been traded off in terms of those knocks. Revo, Mafioso, both low. Carrillo still not going to be stymied by that. Gets taken down, moves into the sightlines of 3. It's not going to go well. Revo out wide for 1 with the Groza. Gets taken low, but stays alive for now. Mafia Boy up top and Nima, the 2 active for Skylights Gaming. Revo and Mafioso on the flip side coming through for Alpha 7. Nades being cooked. And in the meantime, Vampire are taking names. 3 players alive for them still. They're still going in the picture-in-picture. Alpha 7 still continuing this fight, continuing this pressure. Fireflux also rolling down the hill in towards Inco. Inco currently 11th place. If they go down, 1 million stay alive. There's potential for a little bit of a chop and a change there at the bottom of the tables, but it's Fireflux really with the important frags. 5 already on the cards. You talked about them dominating the lobby, Zute. They might have just been able to do it here. 5 already racked up with 10 teams remaining.
All they got to do is take out Inco and they'll get that whole western side for themselves. That's Alpha 7 eliminated, down and out. Vampire with a very, very ballsy rotation right dead into the center, and it is open for them. They'll manage to stick in there for now, but they have a 4-man team. Let's not forget, there's a 4-man team of the Godlike Stalwarts esports team still in this lobby, just playing as patient as ever, knowing they pretty much secured that first place. Soulcake cannot go down. Nice trade back by the team of Fireflux.
Vampire. That was Vampire, I think, who got that knock.
Oh.
Taking down top. I mean, look at the third-party position that they have on them. They're just a little bit further to the north. Vampire central right now. 4 eliminations for them. 5 for Fireflux. There's 2 points in it right now, Zute, between these two. And Bacon Time are still going. We have 3 of our challenging teams right now, all in different kinds of spots.
Godlike went down to just 1 player, but they're going to get the full reset. Zone slightly shifts off of them, so they will need all 4 to press further in. Good zone shift for the team of Fireflux. So, I mean, they control this whole western side. This will just give them more room to play with as more teams get choked out. Fireflux in a even better position to overtake that top 3 and rip it away from Bacon Time. However, Bacon Time still have 4 up.
Inco dispatched. No further will they go. They're in 11th. 141 is the mark for 1 million to try and hit. They might have added a placement point or 2 onto that actually for going out in 8th. So it would be a little bit higher than that, but 1 million. They started the game 13 points behind. If they can make it to 3rd place, grab a couple of eliminations, that might be enough to take that spot away.
Bacon Time need these points. They get 1. They need to create as much buffer as they can against the dominating force of Fireflux right now on the high ground. And then they pick up 2. Those will be 2 very crucial more points that they just pick up here. Godlike Stalwarts coming in from the south, hammering in onto Vampire's position now.
3 players still active for Vampire, 4 eliminations. They want to keep this one in pocket. Godlike Stalwart, they've risen to the top. They will be taking that 1st place position here. But the shots are answered back over
confirmed
from Fireflux. 7 elimination points now for Fireflux, bringing them up to 228 total without the placement points, which puts them 6 points behind Bacon Time at this stage. But Soulcake's in the sidelines. Mini 14 is there, waits for him to stop, but he's not gonna. The jitters are in. And he's all a quiver. 1 million taking shots over towards Bacon Time as well. Spot Shirty. And actually get the flush. That's taken away by 1 million.
That's huge. Bacon Time losing 1 is very good news for Fireflux. Not sure how Bacon Time ended up losing a player there. That could be a very, very costly mistake for them.
Overstepping the mark. The circle is still on top of them, but they're right on the edge of it now. They've enjoyed the center of it for quite a while. But it moves away. They will have to leave. Another picked up on the top, but that's taken by Bacon Time. Fireflux do the work, but Bacon Time reap the reward. 5 eliminations for them, and they're keeping this thing going. They're keeping this train going until the final stop.
It is neck and neck. But 3 circles ago, Fireflux asserted dominance on this zone, and you can see they have overwatch of everything. Uncontested now. This is Fireflux game
Big nade.
to throw.
Fireflux, they took the top of Everest. It was the position that HVVP could have taken if they'd have moved earlier from North George, but they waited too long. They played slow and back and weren't able to do it. Picking up another point. Ooh, Fireflux, you just saw them jump up over on the tables against HVVP. 8 eliminations now. 229 total. Still 6 points behind though, because Bacon Time pinched one away.
Bacon Time loses another player. Down to 2. They can make it into zone at least. As Vampire and Stalwarts Esports finally get into a committed engagement, Pika will drop down. That might actually keep him safe, as it's very scary to peek over the edge into the open, especially with Fireflux down here. But look at how many point opportunities Fireflux has. They have their pickings of whichever team they want to take shots at.
Play zone. Point over to Vampire. Elimination found. 5 total now. I mean, we might have counted them out, but they are still here, still in the lobby, still with 3.
Hold up.
They nail the shots back over to Catch. Fireflux, Soulcase spotted by Skylights Gaming, and Nade over to Bacon Time as well. And Solus answers over towards Vampire. The fights are going every
Skylights
single
moving
direction.
up.
Solus is low. Lutz is low as well for Fireflux. Will they be drawn short? Will they fall short of that mark? The 3rd place is up for grabs, but Bacon Time is still alive. The final zone here, and we have 5 teams remaining, Zute.
Every team's starting to make their push now as the zone is closing in. I think Fireflux will be okay. The push stopped short. They will hold strong up there. Bacon Time, meanwhile, down to 1. Skylights Gaming making a play, picking up some points, confirming 1. Bacon Time is out. And Fireflux is still up with 4. They got full reset.
They did, and Vampire Esports getting peppered away. 1 million is still alive, and they're still going. Can they pick up the points? Lazy Boy falls. Who went down first? I think it was them, but there's 2 teams remaining. Fireflux, they might have done enough to do it. They might have jumped up, taken Bacon Time's spot. 9 eliminations now found. What more can they sweep under the rug? 7 eliminations, 3rd place for Vampire. It's good, but it might not be good enough. Out goes the swing wide. 4 players alive for Fireflux. Catch and Solus mount up. Lutz
they
down,
need this.
and
Oh, no.
And Mafia Boy playing spoiler. The spray over towards Catch plays off with
1v1.
AJ. And now it's a 1 versus 1. Mafia Boy versus Soulcase. Fireflux with the run of their lives to control from the top of Everest. But it all comes down to 1 versus 1. A tree and a ridgeline, and Mafia Boy enveloped by the blue. The nade sails high. The burn is out. Soulcase steps up, hits the deck again. He's out in the open, but can he land the shots? Soulcase ducking, diving around the ridgeline. It's a Groza. It's so close. Soulcase, 1 more bullet will do it, but a headshot can turn it either way. It's Fireflux. They take 3rd place, and with it, a direct qualification to Jakarta.
Ooh, I love that. He smacked the camera. You can feel the energy in there. RIP to that fan. That one fan just got massacred. They're not done yet. Oh man, what a run for the Fireflux team. That is emotion right there. Absolutely beautiful to see.
What a way to close it down. A dominant chicken dinner to claim your spot to the PMGC finals. That is incredible. 4 eliminations for Solus. The number that they had is a lot bigger than that, let me tell you. It is so good to see them working together. Look at that, such an even spread. 830 to 510 damage spread. They played as 4. They earned it. They've stamped their ticket.
Wow. Couldn't have been a better ending. Bacon Time getting all the circles, but remaining trapped. Fireflux having to fight their way in, but taking the dominant positions and controlling and executing it well. Letting them ride it out and making their way up and punching through Bacon Time's 3rd place position. And I'm pretty sure, like you said, that was enough for them to make it into the top 3.
Bacon Time going down when they did. Low elimination count. Only the final standings will tell, but Fireflux Chicken Dinner, that is how you do it. I mean, they feel like they knew as well exactly how that went. What a shocking result for HVVP. For Bacon Time to fall out, but Fireflux dominate the final game and take spot 3.
And Fireflux Esports clutches it up when it is absolutely needed in the last match. You saw the excitement in their faces, man, shaking their hands after punching fans. That is how you get it done. Oh, man, Glitter, can we ask for a better ending?
No, that's the short answer. You absolutely could not have asked for a better ending. It was down to the wire. So many things had to fall the right way for Fireflux to be able to come out on top like that. 27 total points with the chicken dinner. I mean, to be fair, Skylights tried to take him out 7. It got a little bit too close for comfort there.
It definitely did, and guess what? Oh my goodness, Nova, even though Order was able to get 50 eliminations, they ended up getting hunted down by Knights. But Order being able to clutch that up, you know what? It secured their second spot a little bit more. Damage, though, top. I mean, this was a player that had a pop-up performance yesterday. He continued to have a pop-off performance.
Oh my
goodness! Fireflux makes it.
Here it is.
This is
Bacon
insane.
Time's got to be devastated.
By 7 points.
Wow.
7 points. And they were trying so hard. They were alive so long into that game, but the eliminations were just way too high on behalf of Fireflux. I mean, Nova gets ousted a little bit by Godlike Stalwart, but this is a top 3 that we didn't see literally until today, 7. This is a brand new top 3 from what we saw for the past 3 days.
It is, and then you have a bunch of heartbreaks like HVVP. I mean, this team was at the top for 3 days straight. And then on the last day, we were talking about it yesterday. Stuff wasn't really working. They weren't the same HVVP, and they end up right there in 6th place.
Dang.
And then Inco Gaming clutching it up by just 2 points over 1 million. 1 million. If they would have just gotten those extra eliminations there at the end, it might have been a completely different story, Glitter.
Listen, this is another case of the stolen elims, okay? That would have been an opportunity that could have made or broke the performance for 1 million. So 2 points, that's got to sting a little bit, and now we know who's going to be making their way to the survival stage. And, of course, the grand finals, Godlike Stalwart, Nova, and Fireflux Esports punch their tickets, and their survival stage is getting scarier and scarier. Jukes, we heard the casters talking about this. We kind of hinted at it all day. It's going to be so difficult in the survival stage.
This survival stage is going to be so disgusting. I mean, you got Alpha 7 Esports, HVVP, which was like Seven said, popped off every day. But here's the MVP, and it's top from Godlike Stalwart. I mean, this man had performed constantly, day in and day out. 40 eliminations total. That's more than some teams got.
I'm not surprised. I talked about it at the beginning of the show. This man had a pop-up performance yesterday. 8 team eliminations in just 1 day. And right now, I mean, with the damage he was able to output to with the elims, this is exactly what Godlike Stalwart needed to be able to push up to that first place. And this is what some of the other teams like HVVP, I hate to say it, but they also needed that clutch factor from some of the other players. We saw it. The first 3 days, they were so hard to eliminate.
We saw it!
It disappeared. It went to absolutely nowhere. And then Bacon Time, the patience, Glitter, that they had, it might have worked out in the previous days, but when they actually needed to become urgent, when they needed to at least secure some extra elims, they decided to wait for too long.
I feel like they tried to make a push there at the end of today, and it's just too many missed opportunities. When you go back and you look at even the first day, we talked about this with them in the very first day. They came out of the gate with a really strong performance and then got quiet and passive, and it stayed that way for too long, and they missed out on too many points. We talk about it so frequently, you would think that someone would listen by now. Every single point matters every time, okay? Because they won't, like,
And this
1 million Esports is not going to forget those 2 points anytime soon. Same thing for everybody else that missed out on top 3.
it's gonna just be burned in their brains for a whole year, because that's gonna have to wait until pretty much next year to be able to get that done. And you know, it's so crazy just to see how close this gets every single time. And the feelings that are going through these players. I mean, heck, I mean, you know, Nova, I guarantee you Nova is probably the most upset team because they wanted first place. You know they did. But you know what? It's time to talk to our first place winners. Godlike Stalwart. Let's go ahead and take it off to a beautiful interview. Take it over to Choo Choo.
We're down to the last wire and down to the last bullet to know who will be the top 3 and who will be the champion. Not really yet. The number 1 spot in week 2 of the Green Group today. I'm Choo Choo, your host. We're talking about last day for the Group Green in the PMGC 2022. Congratulations to Stalwart, none other than the STE taking that number 1 crown in the last minute now. And also we want to know, since this is called the Group of Death, you crown yourself as number 1. That's a big statement. Did you actually expected you to win today at number 1?
Nos techniques, notre tactique, tout ça a été... C'était juste pour le numéro 1. On a essayé parce qu'il faut mettre notre niveau le plus haut possible pour arriver en fait, c'est très difficile de parler ici. Il faut mettre notre niveau le plus haut pour arriver ici. Alors, je pense qu'on a fait ce qu'on a fait.
Our strategy was always to gun for number 1 because we must give the best of us to be able to be at the level that we are. I think we did a good effort, and that's how we made it this far.
It's well deserving to push down so many teams after so many grinding. And how do you feel right now as the coach? And none other than, sorry, I forgot to introduce, I was so happy for you. This is Coach Senna, or Senator, he said. So how are you feeling right now?
J'ai pas les mots en fait. C'est le feeling. En fait, c'est pas que de moi. Ça dépend pas que de moi. Ça dépend de tous les gens qui étaient derrière nous.